Hello and welcome to the podcast of Some Dude Shed. My name is Mr. Grey and I am joined by Mr. Red
Hello.
and Mr. Black.
Good evening. Morning. It is morning.
No, it's afternoon.
Oh my god, it is.
It is, yes.
Wow.
We're a little bit late today. We're running at exactly 6 minutes past 12.
I've had 5 minutes past.
So,
What? Five as well.
so today we've got some true or false stories, but before we get into that, we're going to go over the more important stories of the week. Starting with Mr. Red.
Oh, okay. Well, my new story is about a couple who did a gender reveal party in Dubai. And they thought they would fill a balloon full of a certain coloured powder and then have it revealed by having a tiger jump on the balloon and pop it. They filmed this in front of Burj Al Arab Hotel, which is the hotel that looks like a giant parasail.
The big fancy one, yeah.
Yeah. And they posted this on Instagram, and it hasn't got the best reaction, let's just say.
Oh, generally things involving animals, I mean, everybody says they're always cruel, so...
And it was pink, by the way. So
Brilliant.
I don't want to assume anyone's gender, but it was pink.
All right, I guess that means it's a girl, does it?
It's assuming gender, I believe, these days.
I don't know. I guess they must be super wealthy to be able to rent a tiger for the.
Where did this
gender
happen
reveal.
again?
In Dubai.
Oh, of course it did. Yeah, they have all sorts of exotic animals. You can just buy a tiger if you want. Just any
Yeah.
tigers in the shop? Aye.
Oh, that's an expensive pet, but
I know. Feeding that thing.
I
Maybe
suppose-
maybe it just belonged to one of the locals. Hey, can I buy your tiger a second?
Can I buy your guard dog, please?
Your guard tiger?
What about yourself?
My
Mr.
new story for the week is some lucky Simpsons fan is to be paid £5,000 to watch every single episode, so they can work out a pattern and predict the future.
Predict the future of the world, or what the next Simpsons episodes are going to be like?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, Simpsons has a long running.
They got kind of a track record for predicting the future.
Yes.
They've put a picture here of Lady Gaga doing a halftime show in The Simpsons, and apparently that was quite controversial, which happened in real life. Apparently, Lady Gaga did a halftime show for the Super Bowl, and it people weren't happy about it for some reason. To be honest, I don't know that story.
I think one of the more recent ones they were right about was when Donald Trump announced he was running for president.
Yeah, that's quite a famous one because they had Trump as president in one of the future episodes, didn't they?
Yeah, but in one of the other episodes, they had him announce his presidency, I believe, on the golden escalator, which is what he did. He came down the golden escalator whenever he was going to the press conference to announce it, I believe.
Wow.
But maybe he saw The Simpsons and was like, "Yes, just do that."
I could have.
Yeah.
Well, it's a casino that's funding this, so I guess they're figuring out a way how they can take bets based on things that happen in Simpsons episodes.
Wow.
So that's
Brilliant.
capitalism wins, I guess. Mr. Black, do you have a news story for the week?
I have a couple news stories. Let's go over them briefly. Woman nearly dies after 8-hour wedgie from high-waisted shorts.
Nearly dies
Yeah.
because her shorts were too tight.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Basically the bottom line is she got an infection. She went on a date that lasted 8 hours. I don't know what date lasts 8 hours, but she did. And because there was the doctors pretty much said that, let's see. Basically, the doctor said that it created a dark and damp environment for bacteria to sort of fester. And what ended up happening is she got an infected ass and ended up in the hospital with sepsis.
From tight shorts.
From tight shorts, yeah.
Wow.
And it only took 8 hours for her to end up with sepsis.
Well, no, she ended up with like a big, swelling.
Oh.
And then it got inflamed, and then she was like, "Oh, like ooh, sepsis." And she got herself. I think it was over the course of a couple of days.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so nearly died of a dirty ass.
Oh dear.
I don't think it was the shorts' fault. I think she might have just had a dirty hole, and then
Needs,
know what I mean?
needs to wipe a bit better.
pretty much. So pretty bogging if you ask me. But this other story I had to include because I thought it was pretty good. Let's see here. This article made it onto the BBC. US man sues psychic who promised to remove ex-girlfriend's curse.
Was the curse not removed?
Apparently not. A California man is suing a psychic who he says falsely claimed he could remove a curse put on his marriage by a witch hired by his girlfriend.
What was the curse?
Just shitty life, probably.
Shitty-
The shitty life spell. Like,
Thank goodness. Can you imagine?
Am I cursed then?
fuck, I must be.
Can you imagine a psychic like selling false services? That's just unheard of. They're normally quite honest people.
Could you imagine making it to court? That's what I can't believe.
Yeah,
But,
I don't know. I mean, like, what would the judge say? Okay, what's your evidence for the curse?
Well,
Yeah.
well, I think she put herself in it because she requested money off him, whereas most people working in this field sort of go, well, we don't charge, but we do accept donations or monetary gifts, which kind of negates them from any legal.
Or if you want these nice stones.
Yeah, pretty much. Mauro Restrepo said Sophia Adams promised she could save his marriage if he paid $5,100, which is about £3,742, to exercise the spell, according to a fraud suit filed with Torrance Superior Court. This is in California. Miss Adams allegedly told Mr. Restrepo that he and his family would be unhappy and in danger if the curse was not lifted. He's now seeking $25,000 in damages.
Wow.
Included among several other allegations made by Mr. Restrepo are charges of negligence, civil conspiracy, and both intentional and negligent infliction of emotional distress.
Well, it wouldn't be the silliest thing to ever go to court.
Miss Adams' website, this is the psychic woman, bills her as psychic love specialist and PhD life coach, which the suit claims made the plaintiff more confident that he was speaking with a professional that could help him. During the session, Miss Adams reads tarot cards and told him that he had mala suerte, or bad luck, placed on him by a witch hired by his ex-girlfriend, and unless the curse was removed, it would ruin Restrepo, his children, and his marriage, the court papers say. Despite making an initial deposit of $1,000, Mr. Restrepo said that Miss Adams did not in any way help his marriage, and he had been suffering from sleepless nights, anxiety, and anguish.
Goodness.
Wow. So
Well,
don't give a psychic money. Just don't.
That's good advice for life, I think, Mr. Black.
Do you think he got a no win, no fee solicitor? Or, as an American side, lawyer?
Did you obtain a curse that wasn't your fault? Psychic lawyers for you. Call now to get a quote.
To be honest, I don't think the earthly court's going to really help with his problem.
Yeah, just
Right. Anyway,
America.
on with the main feature, I guess.
Okay.
So we've each got a story. We're all going to tell it and basically guess if it's true or not.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
I could go first if you like.
Yeah,
Sure.
Go for it. Be my
All right. Well, this story takes place in Second World War.
You're stealing my territory.
Wow. This is Mr. Black's territory right there.
Yep, and
sorry.
You are Mr. Black.
as basically this is all about a U-boat, right? A U-boat is a submarine.
Was there a U-boat story last week?
Yes.
Wow.
Ooh.
Do you not remember it already?
I've got a very bad memory. I need to.
Is this the same story?
need an upgrade. That would be an incredible lapse in memory if that was the case.
Well, World War II and a U-boat. How many U-boat World War II stories could there be?
Well, according to the name of the U-boat, at least 1,000. I'm guessing.
Well, sorry. Hold on a minute. It was actually a World War One U-boat story, so we're fine.
Ah, yes.
Oh,
Okay.
All right.
Right. Well, this takes place in basically the last days of the war. It was April 1945, and this U-boat was near Scotland at the time, and now this U-boat was running the latest technology. Okay, and that technology involved a high-tech toilet. It was a pressurized system. Now the U-boat toilet is all very compact. You know, the submarine is made to be as small as possible, right? So to save space, when they made the U-boats, whenever you flush the toilet, it just kind of evacuated out the sub.
Uh-huh.
It didn't actually have like a big tank to hold everything. So this was a special one, which was developed so they could use their toilet while underwater. So it was because it was super pressurized and everything. So it was pretty cool. The problem with it was that it was quite complicated.
Yes, there was a series of events you had to go through to actually use the toilet properly.
So the story goes there are differing versions of the story, but basically speaking, someone used the bathroom and they pulled the wrong lever. And instead of evacuating everything out safely, it accidentally let in a whole load of seawater into the boat or into the submarine. And the seawater reacted with something on the ship and created a whole load of poisonous gas. So they had to quickly, basically, emergency surface. So quickly go up to the surface and open the hatch and get out of the sub, basically.
Poisonous gas, like ass gas?
Well, it's chlorine actually.
Ugh.
So yeah, they had to surface really quite quickly. And of course, they were just off the coast of Scotland at the time. So
they got captured.
They got captured, and spent the next month in a beautiful Scottish camp.
Well, at least they didn't have to wait long.
Yeah. Now there are differing versions of the story. The captain's log says the captain's log says he was on the other end of the submarine. Captain's log says the captain was on the other end of the submarine, and he thought it was leaking from the head of the boat, which is the toilet. Basically, it was leaking from the toilet, is what he heard from the other end of the ship. Now, some other members of the crew say that it was actually the captain who was seen only minutes before the sub started to leak.
Oh,
coming out of the bathroom, and he is quoted as saying, "I'd give it about 10 minutes." So, so there are differing versions of the story, but what is pretty much accepted is that there was definitely a leak in the toilet.
It definitely was.
Yeah.
And whenever when the ship was spotted on shore, they're like, "It's a floater."
Right. So what you're saying is a malfunctioning toilet or somebody using the toilet incorrectly caused a German U-boat to nearly sink and be captured.
Yes.
Is it true or false?
Sure.
I'm gonna go with true.
Can you go with true?
Yeah. Sure.
Well, I can tell you that that it is true. Is U-boat U-1206.
U-1206.
And yeah, well, we don't know if it was the captain that used the toilet, but it was a leak in the toilet area for a toilet that was notoriously difficult to operate.
I know.
Right.
I heard that story before.
Yeah.
The only question I would have was if I didn't know it was true, I would be like, well, if there are multiple versions of the story, how do you know it's true?
Well, we know that it sank, and we know that the crew evacuated because of the poison gas, and it was leaking from the toilet.
All right. Let's see. The version of the story I heard was the captain. He flushed the toilet himself because he was too. There was like a guy dedicated to flushing the toilets.
They were quite complicated. There wasn't an engineer.
Yeah.
And one of his duties was to make sure the toilet was flushed correctly.
Yeah.
Obviously, the captain thought, how can it be? Pulls the lever, and
Yeah.
Or maybe he just went naturally to flush the toilet.
Didn't even think about it.
Wasn't even thinking.
Wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah, as I heard, the captain was like too embarrassed or too proud to let somebody flush his own turd. This is mine. I'll get rid of it.
That's entirely possible. He just pulled the wrong lever and it's like, oh shit.
Just backfires.
Well, one thing is he definitely wouldn't admit it. I just got my ship captured by by taking a poo.
Yeah, you would never admit to that if you were the ship's captain.
No, you wouldn't get work again, I believe.
No. I don't think you had to worry about future employment in April 1945 as a U-boat captain.
As a U-boat captain, no.
So,
disgusting.
Anyway, moving on. So, who wants to take the next story?
I want to go last.
You want to go last?
I want to go last.
That could either mean yours is amazing or really bad.
I think we'll have a good laugh at it.
Oh, will we? Brilliant. All right, then. I'll go. Mine's not that great. True or not true? Disney roller coaster doubles as kidney treatment.
Okay, we need more details than that.
All right. So this is regarding a roller coaster called Big Thunder Mountain Railroad in Disneyland, Florida. The special thing about this ride, I don't think it's exclusive to this ride, but this ride maybe more so in particular because of how bumpy it is and, you know, the effects on the body. Some people discovered it was especially good for passing kidney stones as it had more impact on your body
Right.
than some other roller coasters. It features sudden drops, hairpin turns, and a bumpy track which whizzes through the ribcage of a dinosaur at one stage.
I'm gonna presume this isn't Disney promoted.
No, it's just a
Are you suggesting that Disney doesn't say in their adverts, "Come to our theme park where you can get a kidney
no,
stone"?
I
removed"?
don't think they're. I don't think they're permitted to dish out legal advice. Only that you're too tall for this ride. That's about it.
They're not gonna say we can help you with your medical procedure.
Pretty much. Oh, this
Okay, so there
this
must
roundabout cures heart disease.
so there must have been somebody then who passed a stone when on the ride.
Well, the American Osteopathic Association. Osteopathy is like
That's a medical thing.
it's kind of like a what do you call that medicine? That's kind of like not mainstream medicine,
Like
like alternative, I suppose. Alternative medicine.
herbal medicine.
Bullshit, I believe.
It's basically like they these people rub certain parts of your body and then it cures whatever,
Right.
like inflammation. Or just rub here and it'll get rid of it. They found that several patients had passed their kidney stones by riding the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad roller coaster.
Wow.
I think you know what kidney stones are, yeah. Like
Yeah.
There's stone in
big
the kidney.
hard balls of
really.
calcium that rip your stuff out when you pee them out,
Yeah.
which is why they're extremely painful. So they were so intrigued, they decided to test it, as in scientists decided to test it. So they made like a 3D model of a kidney, and they filled it with urine. So somebody had to get their lad out and just pee into this three urine, and they put real kidney stones in it at certain parts inside it, and they put the kidney in a backpack and took it onto the ride, the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Well, here, hold on a minute.
What's wrong with that story?
The thing that catches me out about that story is I don't think Disney would let you on with a backpack on a ride.
That's a fair point. They often take the backpacks off you. It stops you
Why?
from.
They let you go on with the camera, or can you use that? Can you do that? No.
Well, if you put something in your pocket, they can't really stop you. They're not going to frisk you, but they don't let you carry bags on because you can't get the big,
Yeah,
the
you're-
big massive seatbelt things.
But also, if you drop something off the ride,
Yeah. I'll try.
that ends up either in the ride or, say, you're in a part of the ride, it flies off and you're out in the open and it hits another park goer down below or something.
I don't get a kidney right to the face.
Yeah, so that's why they outright banned selfie sticks because I believe people were trying to use them on rides.
That's what I was
Mhm.
thinking of. Yeah, selfie sticks.
So it wasn't even like they're not allowed on the ride; they're literally not allowed in the park.
Oh wow, Jesus.
And
Goodness.
you get plenty of warnings in the car park. It's like these will be binned if you try to bring them in.
Wow. There you
So I'm ready and kind of not believing this based on the fact that he's taken a backpack onto the ride.
go. Well, you need to get a purse under the right.
So is there more to this
I-
story?
Believe you can.
Sorry.
Is there more to this?
Oh yeah. They put the backpack. They rode the coaster 20 times in total, and they would observe the positions of the kidney stones. After each ride, how they moved, and the way they would do it would be they would put like a large kidney stone at the top part of the kidney, and then after like the first ride, they would then move it to the center of the kidney. They would kind of like rotate them around, just to see how they moved. They found that sitting on the front of the ride passed 17% of the stones.
Uh-huh.
They found if you sat at the back, the stones passed 64% of the time. Yeah. So more than half a million people go to the ER for kidney stones every year. For those who have a particularly small stone, they may want to consider giving roller coaster a whirl.
That sounds
There you go.
that sounds really silly.
Science.
The thing that puts me off is I don't think you're allowed a backpack on the ride. But
And also the fact,
the
that,
fact that they wrote
the
it-
American Osteopathic Association, which don't have anything to do with kidneys, like they're kind of, they rub, well, maybe they do. Maybe they're like, oh, your kidney stones, rub it every night and it'll go away,
But the fact that they rode the ride 20 times.
What's wrong with that?
Maybe they were given special permission or something to do it.
Well, what do you need to ride the ride 20 times for? Oh, we need to take his kidney on.
Well, for empirical evidence, you need to do it over and over again, repeat results.
So maybe then they'd be allowed a bag.
Well,
How big was the bag? Was it a
Kidney-sized?
hideable bag?
kidney size, or it could have been like
A backpack or
bum bag
rucksack? Or
something.
Well, if you look at the phone case,
Kidneys aren't very big.
like if it's a small bag that you could, I don't know, tuck into yourself or something, just so it's secure, you might be allowed it.
Kidneys aren't big. You can fit them in your pocket. Not that I've
Yeah,
tried that.
but
have you tried?
did they have the kidney mock up in like a jar? You know, I need.
Well,
Just says backpack.
I'm gonna.
Backpack. So
Yeah, it's, I think of like a rucksack thing. You
I'm
know,
gonna say
Yeah.
no. That sounds too silly.
or maybe like no way phones or like phone cases are specially shaped for phones. Maybe it was like or you have those like like those little things you can stick a banana in. It's like a banana shaped container. Maybe it's like a kidney shaped thing, and you just stick a kidney in it.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure they sell those.
But now it's a backpack. So
the fact that they wrote it 20 times and if they were doing research,
Judging by the.
I can see
queues.
them getting special.
Well, they'd have to use
exit-
fast passes.
No, I'm just thinking like there must have been like, early morning in the park or something. There wasn't even other people there. So the park might have been closed and they were just like, well, can we test this out? And Disney wanting to help science might have been like, yes.
I'm gonna say no. It's too.
it'd be a great excuse to beat the queues.
It would be.
We also
So-
need
I'm
we
a
also need to
scientist, I
go
need
on,
on this ride.
We also need to go on Space Mountain and
I'm gonna say yes, but I'm gonna guess it was probably done when the park wasn't open and there was nobody else about.
I'm
It
gonna say.
was probably early morning.
I'm gonna say no. It sounds ridiculous. I can't see why. It's going to sound stupid, but the thing that really threw me is the fact that the front and the back of the roller coaster leave with such different results. That just sounds silly to me.
yeah, because the back was bumpier, is what they said. The back,
Oh, it
the
really
back was
dislodges
bumpier.
it.
It goes on the same track, but
Well,
See,
the
the thing
bump-
is though, I've been on a roller coaster. Well, I mean,
Well, the back of an airplane's bumper, back of a car's bumper.
yeah, but that's good. That's spring mounted things with a pivot point.
Yeah,
Roller coasters are train.
we see. I think you do
yeah,
feel
but they do
less
have a
G-force
suspension. They do have a suspension. Though.
on the front because I remember I was on a roller coaster and I remember going on a couple of times. One time I was at the front, another time I was at the back. And there's like it goes down, but it turns at the exact same time as it goes down, like to the left. So it kind of corkscrews down, as you're going down the big dip. But when I was in the front, I didn't feel it anywhere near as much because it didn't pick up the speed until we were kind of past it. Whereas if you were on the back, it would pick up speed. So you would decelerate down the slope faster if you were at the back. Like it would feel, you know what I mean? So it would pick up the speed and then you would get to the dip whenever you were at the back of the coaster
Yeah.
by the time you got there. So I definitely noticed the difference being at the back. You do feel it a lot more.
No, I think you tried.
I'm gonna say it's rubbish. It's false.
Okay, well, the story I'm just gonna say true, but under the circumstances that
It
it
is
was
osteopath.
early morning and it wasn't open.
We're talking about osteopaths, I guess, but
Yeah,
I don't even know what that word means.
it's.
it's rubbing. It's basically rubbing medicine.
Do you know
Oh,
what
okay.
homeopathy is?
Sadly, yes.
It's like
Same-
massage your
same
arthritis
something.
and it'll go away, that kind of thing. Like, or it'll help, like massage therapy.
So, Mr. Black,
True.
it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
Goodness me.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
It was I think it was Live Science published the journal of the scientific discovery.
Okay. Well, this isn't advice, but go to Disneyland, Florida, if you want to cure your kidney stones.
Yeah, I think for a disclaimer, you should just say
This isn't advice.
if you have kidney stones, just go to your doctor. Don't go on a roller coaster unless your
don't go,
doctor says
don't
it's
go to the
okay.
roller coaster first.
Might be cheaper in America though.
It could. I mean, it just said it helped move them. It could move them somewhere very uncomfortable.
Well, it makes sense, like G forces and stuff.
I-
Like you
I-
could probably get onto a fighter jet and you definitely pass it. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just wondering if you got onto like a merry-go-round in the playground and just spun around really, 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 really fast, and then just like moved around while you're on the merry-go-round. Could you just like,
Maybe.
it's more the G forces.
well, you get a hell of a lot of G-forces.
It's like a centrifugal. Is that the word? Centrifugal force in a roller roundabout.
in the roundabout. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas like if you're on a roller
Yeah, but
coaster, it's
that-
like up and down.
But if you were to stand up and twist around and things, and
I
like,
lie
lie down,
sideways.
and and just eventually they'll work it out. It's like trying to get a marble out of a maze,
You know the way, like with each, like say 2Gs, 3Gs, like that's like you weigh twice as heavy, 3 times as heavy.
Yeah.
So like if you really need to take a dump, like
Oh, I wouldn't go on a roller coaster if you really needed to take a dump.
No, that's
I'd pull it out of you.
yeah, exactly. It's like your dump that would have weighed a couple of pounds
actually kind of
now weighs like 3 times the weight.
reminds me of the roundabout thing. Kind of reminds me of the kid that was on it, and his eyeballs like bulged out of his socket because they it's a group of kids, and one kid got on, and then the other kids got like a motorbike scrambler, and
Oh yes,
they put the wheel up against
Use
the
that
side
to
of
make
the
it go super quick.
yeah, and
the wee roundabout in like a play park kind of thing, and
Yeah.
just stick the tire in it. Yeah.
yeah, and then the kid on it, his eyes kind of like bulged out of his head, and he ended up with a concussion or something. I don't know. He was seriously ill afterwards.
Aye, well, anyone would be, I suppose.
Anyway, on to my story.
On to your story, Mr. Red.
My story takes place during the Cold War.
Yes, happy times.
Happy times.
War, another war.
So, out of all the wacky military inventions that you've ever heard of, right? Well, imagine you're a pilot, right, and you're doing reconnaissance missions over unfriendly territory,
All right.
say Soviet Union, and you got downed, your aircraft got shot down, and you get captured, right? And you're getting taken to a gulag, and one thing to do before you get put into prison is they strip search you, make sure you have nothing on you, and then they put you in prison. Well, if you wanted your allied forces to find you, you might want to carry like a little radio.
Mm-hmm.
I can see where this is going.
Oh, I don't think you can.
Is
Right.
it like a
So whenever you get captured, you get strip searched, right? Where do you think you could hide something
Oh, you talk in your body, I assume.
in, on, around?
Well, a radio, okay, so we're talking the 60s, right? Radio would have to be
Anywhere between the 50s up to the 1990.
Radio. How big would a radio have to be?
would it be like maybe
Batteries and
your
stuff.
back tooth or something?
Well, it could just be like a short range radio or
Yeah.
like a homing
They
signal
don't,
thing.
they don't need a lot of power, do they?
Yeah, it's just literally like a blip, like a Morse code type thing. So you could probably, I've heard of stuff like people putting those kind of things on their back tooth, like a molar or something. Or I know they did that with cyanide, but I mean, like they probably do something with the radio.
Is it going to be an up the bum thing?
No.
Right.
Right.
okay.
Well,
or up your,
Oh, we'll figure that out.
your,
no. Right. Anyway, well, the CIA thought.
Oh, I know.
Okay. Well, no.
Oh.
The CIA thought if one of their pilots, well, not their pilots, the U.S. Air Force, but then anyway, the CIA came up with this idea of creating a fake scrotum. Where they would hide a small radio within the scrotum.
Okay.
And this could be placed on a pilot, and if they get downed in enemy territory and they get captured, they would be able to either, I don't know, use it as a radio or send out a signal, and they can be tracked down to where they are.
This is like a fake scrotum over your scrotum.
It's a fake scrotum over your scrotum.
Okay.
And the reason they went for a scrotum is because whenever they're getting strip searched, another male may not be too interested in checking around your scrotum.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
basically,
Yeah, but that makes no sense though, because they would have to like do an anal cavity search.
yeah, but if a guy's got, it's fake scrotum, so it's going to have pretty big. It's going to be pretty big to hide a radio in it. And, the other guy's just going to be intimidated by the size of a scrotum and not really want to touch it.
Yeah.
Is this something they implemented or something they thought about at the table?
There was something they thought about. I don't know if it ever got tried out.
So is that it? Is there more to this? Or?
They turned out a prototype and that. Yeah, so basically, did the CIA come up with fake scrotum to hide a radio for pilots?
Was it ever used?
It was a prototype.
It was a prototype. So it was it working?
I don't know. I didn't work on the project.
Right. Okay. Well, let's think about the practicalities of this for a moment.
True.
Um.
It's the Cold War. Anything could happen. They were testing psychic powers during the Cold
Right.
War.
Okay. So How would this fake scrotum be attached? I assume it's like makeup glue or something.
Well, it's just like literally just a little sack. It looks like a scrotum, and you
Yeah.
fit it over your own scrotum.
And scrotums, in my experience, can be quite sweaty things. Surely it might slip off.
Depends how sacky looking your scrotum is.
I mean, especially if you're like in a fighter plane or something, and could get quite warm.
Were there little hairs attached to it?
Oh yes, it was hyper realistic looking.
Hyper realistic.
Had pubic hair and everything.
Did it taste like a scrotum?
I don't know. Don't know what one tastes like.
Well,
Did it smell like one?
I probably did, yeah.
Well, being wrapped
wore it
around
long
another
enough.
one, yeah.
I'm sure it did. The smell would have been ungodly if you had to wear that on the plane. You know?
So okay, so how was it used? Did
That
they?
would be another defense against the strip search.
So whenever they were then thrown into their cell, would they remove the fake scrotum to use the radio, or would they literally just pull a wire out of it and start talking into it?
Well, no, the radio was like a little box with a dial that you could tune into a frequency.
Sitting at the corner of his cell talking to his ball bag. Hello. Hello, come rescue me.
So it was just a little dial with a series of numbers for frequencies on it. And
Hold on, what?
like,
There was a dial on it?
yes, it was a little box in scrotum. So I assume they would take the fake scrotum off, take the box out, tune into the frequency, radio for help, or send out a signal.
Yes. Well, I can honestly say it sounds really uncomfortable.
I can imagine, yeah. The thing's made of metal too, and this is sitting against your actual scrotum.
Oh, jeez, made of metal.
And they're like the radiation too. Like, you know.
Well, it wouldn't be turned on at that time, I assume. You have to conserve battery.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I'm gonna say false. No,
I'm gonna say true. 'Cause
No,
it's the Cold War.
I'm actually going to agree with Mr. Black. I think this one might be true.
And it's a prototype, so it didn't actually implement it, so it's all the more reason where like they thought of everything during the Cold War. Radio cat, I mean,
Yeah, it's
Cigar
radio
gun.
cigar gun, like radio ball bag's not really that that far out of reality.
Is it?
Radio ball
Oh,
bag.
sure, why not? I'll say true as well.
So you think that would make it through a strip search?
Maybe it depends how
I don't
convincing it looks.
They probably didn't implement it though, because it was like, yeah, I mean, they probably just got like some randomer, like I know his girlfriend. Maybe he went home with it. Like test to see if she notices.
Well, maybe if you got a pilot who was really dedicated to the cause, you know, for country and all that, he would have got his actual scrotum removed so it could be replaced with the false scrotum.
Yeah. No. No, I don't think anyone's that dedicated.
Did not try other things too. People were like, it wasn't like a scrotum pouch. It was like, you know, they would bury a radio underneath your skin with like a wire, and it would be up to yourself to like cut the skin a bit to pull the wire out in the radio. Like it would just be underneath the surface,
That wouldn't surprise me.
like a last ditch effort kind of thing. Yeah, whatever. I'll just not say true.
Come on, true.
It's true, isn't it? It is. He wants us to change our minds.
Come on, Mr. Red.
Hold on. Whoa. What if you're a woman? Radio
Anyway.
pussy?
Women can't fly planes, especially not in the 50s.
From the 50s.
That was the popular opinion at the time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Women only could fly planes recently. They only figured that out.
Oh, so it was only for pilots?
Yes, it was for pilots.
For pilots in the spy planes. That's what they said.
The whole thing was if the pilot gets shot down, they would have a radio. Were you not listening?
Yeah, but like, why didn't they make the, you know, just pilots wear the ball bag? Like, what about sailors and, like,
Well,
you
what's
know,
the chance of a sailor getting captured?
Well, they flushed the toilet wrong and
Well, maybe whenever they're
or like say
pilots were
like a
doing
spy, like a James Bond type, you know, trying to go into Russia and he gets caught and he needs to pull out his fake ball bag with the radio.
These radio balls, they were quite expensive. You know, I mean, they couldn't give them to everyone.
well, who does more reconnaissance? You know, who does more reconnaissance? Pilots over
Well,
enemy
yeah,
territory.
Yeah.
Well, who has a more of a chance of getting shot down and captured?
I suppose.
Pilots.
I'm still gonna say true.
True.
It's true.
It's
Cold
true,
War.
it's actually
Cold War.
true.
If it was, you know,
That's the picture of it. Oh my goodness.
is it? Oh, have you got a picture? I don't know if I
That's,
want to see it. Well, it's fake, so yeah, let's see it.
It's very convincing looking.
Is it on a dude or?
No, it's just.
Oh my god!
Isn't that pretty?
That can't be comfortable.
Oh,
I can't imagine it would be comfortable now, especially with a little metal box just pressed against your
and all
balls.
those G forces as well in the plane. Oof.
And it's got pretty sharp corners too.
Yeah.
Like that's not chamfered at all.
It looks like a dried up mushroom or something.
Well, anyway, they made one prototype that was never actually used in the field.
That's brilliant.
There you go.
And if you want to see it, it's in the International Spy Museum in Washington, D.C.
Brilliant. Well, I'm kind of. Yeah, it's got Cold War attached to it. Then it's probably true.
Well,
you say that. I might just have to think of some wacky things myself now.
yeah, we could come up with something. I mean, it's going to take some imagination to come up with something like that. But
Like pig pilots, I probably.
and on that note, I suppose do we have to put the record straight and say that we have there's nothing wrong with women flying planes? I would just like to say that that there is no problem with women flying planes.
Some of my female friends are pilots.
Well,
There you go.
I don't know any pilot.
Right, on that note, if we've been wrong about anything, please let us know in the comments.
Absolutely. Till next time.
Till next time.
Adios.